Indian Stone Restaurant.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one! Another one! Another one!
Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Worked out by Burke. Bounces into Cody. Puts it up. Scores!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. And no better way to start than with, of course, the voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer. Charlie Miller will be joining us shortly, but Don's with us now. Don, how are you, sir?
I'm as well as I can be.
Yeah, I can imagine. Going back to this weekend, unfortunately, Indiana had another opportunity, golden opportunity, to knock off a top 10 team and just cannot get over the hump, Don. And, of course, we've got to start with the offensive line, I'm sure.
Well, let's face facts here, and I've talked about this ad nauseum this year. The question on Indiana's football team offensively is the offensive line. Again on Saturday, they did not get the job done. They couldn't run the football at all. The only way they could run it is if it was a scramble from Jack Tuttle. Stephen Carr had no holes to run through. The passing game suffered on Saturday as well because they couldn't block Michigan State well enough to give Jack Tuttle much passing time, much time to throw the football. We had a drop or two again by the receiving corps, but it was the offensive line and their inability to block anybody that kept Indiana from winning this football game on Saturday. And I will grant you that Jack Tuttle threw 2 interceptions. He didn't play his best football, but he was under pressure the entire day. There was simply not enough time to throw it, and they couldn't open a hole to run it. Therefore, you get beat 20-15 on a day when your defense again carries the load.
Yeah, it's watching that game. It just, I hate you feel so much for the defense because they're not just doing a good job. They're doing a tremendous job. And in any other scenario, just a semi-average offense, they beat both Cincinnati and Michigan State, both top 10 teams. Because I think that they're defensively, they're better than both of those teams, obviously. And to just be missing that one little piece, but man, that's gigantic. And I said before this week or last week, that's not a must win, but it was really close. Now, from now on, they're all must wins for these teams to get to bowl eligibility.
Yeah, I mean, let's face facts here. This football team has something to fix, and I don't know if it's fixable. And again, I'm talking about the offensive line. It's I can't quite figure it out either, primarily because you only really lost one starter from a year ago at Harry Kreider. Everybody else on this offensive line that's starting right now played last year, either as a starter or a guy that came off the bench and played lots of snaps. So where's the problem? Why hasn't this team or this offensive line gotten better rather than have gotten worse? And again, I can't answer that question. Is it coaching? Is it the lack of, is it a team? What was last year's team a total anomaly in the sense of being able to win football games and being able to score points? I don't know what the answer is, and I don't know where the problems lie totally. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are upset with the play calling. Nick Sheridan's getting his share of comments now negatively as the offensive coordinator. I don't know if that's the issue.
I was going to say, I agree with you.
It's the execution of the offense, and the offense cannot perform if they don't have time or holes to run through. It's just that simple. And I don't know where else we can look because the defense has done everything you could expect of them. The only thing that they haven't done a great deal of, like they did a year ago, was force a lot of turnovers and that type of thing. But the defense is holding up. They've stopped a lot of the big plays that other teams last year were able to get against Indiana, so they've held up in that regard. The defense is playing terrific. I mean, Micah McFadden is just an animal out there, a beast. I mean, he is so hard to contain, and he is so quick to the football. Cam Jones the same way. The defensive line is playing better than they have in several years, in my opinion. They're forcing other quarterbacks to not have as much time to throw the football. And they're definitely stopping the run game for other teams at this point. So you're getting everything you need from one side of the football and pretty much nothing of what you need from the other side. And right now, that's killing this football team.
Hey, Charlie Miller joining us. I absolutely agree, Don, because when people start talking about play calling, I'm like, you know what? If the plays were working, no one would be complaining. And the reason they're not working is because of the offensive line not making them work. So I agree with you. I don't think it's necessarily the play calling. I mean, there may have been a couple times, but there's always going to be a couple times where you're going to wish that call was back because it was bad. But overall, I agree. I don't know how you fix a problem where you have Indiana had 16 returning starters overall. I think 9 of them were on offense. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, most of those were on the O-line. And I don't know how they have gotten – in the beginning of the game, it seemed like they were getting some holes open for Stephen Carr. But then it just closed. Either Michigan State made some great adjustments or the O-line just folded and just could not hold up through fatigue or whatever it is, but not getting the job done. And I don't know how you beat anyone. You've got Purdue that just beat an Iowa team in Iowa. So it's looking very scary. Now we have Ohio State coming in. So, man, they've got a lot of things to fix in a hurry.
Well, let's let Charlie fix it for us. Charlie, you're a basketball guy, but obviously football stuff that we're talking about hasn't worked. So maybe, Charlie, you could bring in some basketball philosophy here that can turn things around for this football team.
He is the Zen master.
Well, I tell you what, I always think about you, Don, and I'm serious. Like, I feel sorry for you, man. Like I don't even have empathy for Don. I feel sorry for you. Because it's been about 20 plus years of suffering, man.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what you go through from Monday through Friday. And when you see those plays happen, here we go again. You do your best at painting that picture in an optimistic way. But
let me tell you something, Charlie. I missed calling a field goal properly in Saturday's ball game because I was wishing it in through the uprights, and it didn't get there.
And I get it. And that's the you know, the silver lining I have is just more so over the history of what we've done football-wise. There's been a lot of individual pieces that have represented well in the NFL. Defensively, we're talking about defense. I mean, you go out of Wale, back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of players. Can't think of his name. He played cornerback for a while for the Detroit Lions. But nevertheless, offensively, you just can't score points. We can't score. And that's a big deal when you're scrambling. Jack Tuttle has played 3 games, started 3 games. Not enough body of work. Not enough body of work. I don't care who you are.
Right.
It's just not enough body of work. That's going to take time. But you don't have the time because we're not in the business of college athletes as moral victories. I think that was 2 years ago, especially last year during the COVID season.
Right.
Who knows what was going on with other programs? I mean, you might have taken advantage of some things, but moral victories won't work now at this level. It's kind of tough. So you got to figure something out offensively. Because you dominate. First of all, I look at time possession. You dominate it. First downs, you dominate it. You dominate every category except we can't score the turnovers. That's because the quarterback's running for his life.
Right.
And then, Don, there's and when the quarterbacks are able to get some good throws out, we've seen so many drops this year, right? Ty Freifogel and guys like it. Now they lose DJ Matthews. That's been a tremendous hit and probably more so than anyone expected it to be. But yeah, you've got that. But Ty Freifogel, I don't want to just point him out, but there's been too many drops, balls that should have been caught.
Well, Freifogel had another drop or 2. You could argue that he had 2 drops in this ball game. And Ty last year was the receiver of the year in the Big Ten. But he has really struggled this year. And here's the other aspect. There's no separation. These receivers have not created separation hardly at all this year. So speed is a factor there with the receiving core. I still The one thing that I would argue that you could criticize the offensive coordinator for is we don't throw to the tight ends enough. I think, and we talk about A.J. Barner. They talk about him all the time being just a tremendous athlete, a guy that can do crazy things. They don't ever throw it to him. I mean, he hardly played Saturday. Why he was not in the ball game some. Peyton Hendershot is probably your most reliable receiver that you've had on the field this year. And he's a big, strong kid, and he can make plays after he catches the football. And we're not going to him nearly as much as I think we need to. I don't see screen passes very often. I mean, there's just some things that we just don't do offensively that to the untrained eye, and trust me, I'm not an X and O guy, so I'm not sitting here saying that there may be a reason why we don't throw screens a little bit more, or why we don't go to the tight end more. I don't know what those answers are. All I can tell you is what I see. And what I see right now is an offensive line that's not blocking well enough, not protecting the quarterback well enough, that's putting way too much pressure, especially on Jack Tuttle, who hasn't had, as Charlie points out, that much opportunity to hone his game as a starter. At this point, I don't see anything that's going to help this football team on the offensive side of the ball unless they change something, and I don't know what that would be.
You know, I want to say this real quick.
Go ahead, Charlie.
If you don't mind, like you. So that's another key point that I didn't think about when I was speaking. I'm almost certain. I mean, again, I'm not a trainer either in football, but I'm almost certain routes are ran differently when you're not getting that ball consistently. There's a little letdown personally when you're not touching that ball, and it's almost like I'm running this route as hard as I can. So I'm not questioning the heart. But you can almost wonder, it's okay. Hey, man, take their heart from the jump. They're not going to run the routes clean. They're not going to be sharp. We're going to pressure. We're going to put 8 in the box. We're not going to. So it's like now you got the offensive line not playing well. That might also be a factor. How are the wide receivers creating separation because they're not getting the basketball, the football consistently.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot what I was going to say, but go ahead, Don. You got a point.
Well, look, I don't know that we can fix this. That's the biggest issue. And now you're playing another top 10 team at Ohio State Saturday.
Yeah. Wow.
You've got Michigan coming up, another top 10 team in a couple of weeks after that. You got Maryland and Rutgers, both improved football teams. They've been taking their lumps here of late as well, but they're two winnable football games. And now you got a Purdue team that just knocked off the Iowa Hawkeyes, the number 2 team in the country, with a tremendous defensive show in that ball game. They played the kind of defense that Indiana
in Iowa City, no less.
Yeah, and did it in Iowa City. But here's the other thing. I mean, I don't care what Purdue does the rest of the year, but if you got David Bell on your roster, you've got something special. And that kid is just absolutely a tremendous football player. He is the heart and soul of that Purdue football team on the offensive side of the ball. I don't care where you throw it to him, he's got a chance to make a play with it. And he's done that since he's been there. He's a junior this year. He's got to go to the NFL, doesn't he? I mean, I hope he goes to the NFL because he's been tremendous. But long story short, Indiana's schedule is so difficult. It doesn't matter who they play. Yes, and you're getting to the point of the season after 6 games. You're halfway through and you're 2-4. The heart of this team is now a question mark. Can this team continue to be to live up to the culture that Tom Allen has built there with the LEO and the love each other, that kind of thing? Is there doubt in these kids' minds? You got a bunch of transfer portal guys that came in. They were expecting to be a part of something special here. Where are they at now mentally? All of these things play into what we're looking at with this Indiana football team at this point. And I'm afraid that this program's in a little trouble at this juncture. Can they turn it around? They have an opportunity, but they're going to have to start playing a great deal better on the offensive side of the ball to have any chance to do so.
I agree wholeheartedly. And so we don't just have a bad conversation all day. You've got basketball not quite here, Don, but have you been to any practices or been anything like that?
Yep, I've been to practice a week here in the last 2 or 3 weeks now. I've seen him practice for about 2 hours in each of those scenarios. I've been very impressed with Mike Woodson. Mike has done a terrific job of getting these kids to buy into what he's teaching. Right now, I think there's a lot of emphasis on the offensive side, learning the offense that Mike wants to play. I've heard Rob Finney and guys like that talk about they feel like there's more opportunity in this offense that Mike is installing to do more things, giving them more freedom to do things. It's going to be very interesting to watch this basketball team progress this year and see how they handle adversity, see how they deal with the positiveness that has been ongoing for this team, because since Mike has come, there's been nothing but positive things said. They're going to have some adversity at some point down the road. We'll see how they handle that and see how Mike handles it from a coaching perspective. All of this is going to be new this year. They'll have their bumps. They're going to have bumps in the road like everybody does. They're going to lose a game or two that they should have won. They're going to have opportunities to knock off some people, and I think they're going to be capable of doing that. The talent is good. I don't know if it's great. I do think the talent is better than it was a year ago with the transfer portal and Tramar Bates, a true freshman that's come in. I think this kid's going to be special. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries, though, a lot of sprained ankles and that type of thing. So you haven't seen everybody at the same time practicing. Trey Galloway's been dealing with an issue. I saw Christian Lander's been dealing with an issue. Jordan Geronimo had an ankle issue at one point. They've had all different kinds of not bad injuries, just injuries that haven't allowed guys to practice as much or to be a part of practice as much as they would like. And the big 7-footer from South Florida, Michael Durer, I think if he can get healthy, and he's not really been healthy much of this early part of the practice sessions, if he can get healthy, he's really going to help this team because he is more athletic than I anticipated him being. He's got a great attitude. He's strong. So he's got a chance to be a special player, and he's got 2 years of eligibility with this program. So I'm really excited about him being a part of this team. And, of course, Miller Kopp can shoot it. Parker Stewart can shoot it. So they've added shooters to their team as well. It's going to be interesting.
Going to look forward to it. Also back again this week at Southern Stone on Wednesday, or Southern Stone Restaurant Wednesday night for the coaches show.
Yep, it'll be interesting to hear Tom talk about this past week because honestly, there was his post-game press conference was interesting to say the least. He was not a happy camper on Saturday, as you would expect. And I think he anticipated that this would be a much better performance by the offense than it was. So I'm going to be interested to hear what he's got to say and how things are going to change. We'll find out some of that here today at the press conference.
Absolutely, and we'll see you there, Don. And then on Wednesday as well, make sure you tune in to the coaches show for Don and Coach Allen on Wednesday, where you can catch that on all the stations where you catch the football games. Right, Don, on the Indiana Football Network?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it, guys. See ya.
See you, Don. Thank you. Don Fischer joining us. We'll be back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration or I'm going to make some coffee. Charlie, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you feel?
A little better, actually.
Good.
Last 2 days, I think I thought I saw a little improvement yesterday, but I didn't want to. Then today, I'm like, wow, I've slept 2 nights in a row. So
all right, good.
That's good. I'll be right back. Let me make some coffee.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing good, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't get my bounty take in.
Your what?
My bounty take on offense.
Oh, when we were on the phone the other night?
Yeah. I didn't get it in.
Hey, just maybe give Dog the Bounty Hunter a call too. Help out with that.
Right. Incentives, man.
What the hell are you all talking about?
Charlie called me after the game the other night, and he had a hot take about the offense.
Said we need to do some type of bounties for scoring. Give defense some bounties too. Cut
Like
back
some
your
NIL
dollars.
bounties.
Yeah, some NIL bounties, man. Probably sponsorship at IU Credit Union. I don't know. Give them an extra credit card or two, MasterCard or a gift card or something. Is the convenience store still on the corner, John? By Memorial Stadium?
Yes, Dave's convenient, bud.
Yeah, they need some hoagies or something, man. We need to, like, touchdown for hoagies or something. I don't know. Go to Dave's and tell them Charlie sent you, man. Get you a hoagie, some chips, and walk back to practice. I don't know. Something. Goodness.
Damn.
And last time I was there, because I didn't go to it, we have the you got Dave's, but then you also have like the new apartment complex, right, where all the athletes stay. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
yeah. Maybe they get like 1 month of rent free or something. I don't know. Something. Maid service, I don't know. Something, man. We need incentive, bro. We need some type of incentive.
All right, I'm gonna bring us back in.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're now a part of the Rivals Network. TheHoosier.com is where you'll find complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, as well as coverage of the Big Ten. Simply go to TheHoosier.com and sign up. It's free. You can also catch Indiana Sports Beat Radio there each day at your convenience, or you can find it any place you podcast or on this station each weekday. If we're not on the station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
This segment is brought to you by AAA Insurance. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurants.
Welcome back. Hope you're having a good Monday. Jim Coyle, Charlie Miller here, John the producer. Don't forget, hey, we all need insurance, and whether it's for home, auto, life. Our friends at AAA Insurance in Southwest Indiana, Southern Illinois, got you taken care of if you're down in that area. Reach out to them, 812-477-9966. That's 812-477-9966. Reach out to AAA. I saw a commercial theirs even last night. I forget what it was. It was ironic, but very timely. How was your weekend, Charlie?
Man, it was a long one. I was on the court Saturday and Sunday from like 9 in the morning to 9:30 at night.
And first of all, let me say, I want not to interrupt you, but I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
Last week, coming on after getting home at 3 a.m.,
Yeah.
I just want to salute you and tell you how much I appreciate you. And that was incredible. That's yeoman's, man. That's you're the man is all I can say.
Well,
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, but that's why you go play at places like Indiana for the people we play for, because that's what it's about, right? I mean, I could take you back to, you just lost the game by 10, 12, whatever it might have been. You get back to the assembly hall from a plane ride or a bus ride, and you expect to be at class at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're held accountable, right? So I can't just talk of the holistic development, man. You got to walk it. Who cares what time I get home? It is what it is.
You're the man.
You got to commit. You got to make it, right?
You just said the key word, commitment, man.
Yeah. And that to me is I don't take away when people say buy-in. I don't take that away because like buy-in, you got to kind of influence me. But like when I'm man, it's like a marriage, bro. It's like 100%. There's no 50-50. You're 100%. You ask me to be a part of this show, I'm gonna do my best to be a part of this show. There's
it's amazing though.
No, man.
So many people in life. That's why Charlie is who he is, and it is sincere. It is genuine. Like Verdell's on all that sincerity, man. It's incredible to be able to witness it up close. I mean, I like to think that I'm sincere, but these guys are dead on it's not even possible to go a different way. But just want to salute you for it, man. I appreciate you. That's why you're able to teach those kids. That's why you're able to do what you do.
and you said it, right? So, it's then it becomes impact, right? I mean, that's what it's about, right? And I even said yesterday, man, I was dog tired Saturday and Sunday. And I told my players, I don't have it. I don't have it today. Like, I'm just telling you, like years past, I would never say that because, you got that performance. You always want to show, man, I don't have it today. These are one of these days you got to pick me up. Let's get after it. We're going to get better. We're going to learn from this. And that's just passing that torch on, man. That's what it's about. Appreciate you. Robert, the Truth Carter's always send money and some food. He cracks me up, man. That's right. Big game last night. Was it Pittsburgh? Yeah, I can't wait till Mike DeCourcy's on tomorrow. The Steelers and the Seahawks. Man, they were going back and forth. I thought the Steelers were going to get screwed out of that game, but they managed to pull it off. So a big win. How about the Colts? They get a big win. That was gigantic. I don't know if you got to watch any football yesterday. I didn't. No, I didn't. But I'm in Cowboy country, so it's that was a big win. That's a big win. I watched the highlights, all that, and Cowboy fans are similar to our football fans because when we're up, boy, Cowboy, you would think. I mean, they're ready for a Super Bowl, and we're winning tight games, and so it's but they're playing well. They got a buzz going, and it's always vibrant in the city when they're playing well and the Mavs are playing well. Unfortunately, the SMUs of the world, the Southern Methodist, they're doing well too, football wise. They just kind of get overshadowed a little bit, but you got a little buzz going with the Cowboy Nation in Dallas right now. I always forget we start early with Don, and I always forget now we haven't given the lineup, but we've got a lot going on today besides Charlie's with us already. We've already had Don. Josh Hoover is going to join us in the second hour, I believe. He's the quarterback committed from Rockwall, Texas. Rockwall Heat. Indiana. Rockwall Heat High School. Yeah. Man, he's still rolling. I think they had a bye week this weekend because he was in Bloomington for a visit. So we'll get to talk to him and see how that went. Looking forward to that. Good. He's tearing it up down there, Charlie. He is like he's in your neck of the woods. Yeah, no, he's not. Yeah, about 45 minutes away. But I'm very familiar with Rockwall Heath area. Crazy. He's thrown he's averaging about 300 yards a game. I think it's 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, around 64% completion. He's special. I really, really like him, but can't wait he's coming up early. I know that he's going to be here at mid-semester. So it's going to be interesting when you get up here because Michael Penix has eligibility left, Jack Tuttle, there's the other kid I can't forget who had a knee injury. Then you've got Donovan McCulley, and then you'll have Josh. So they're going to have 5 quarterbacks. Somebody will end up probably moving on, I would guess. But that's what you need. I think at the collegiate level, professional level, you need healthy competition, right? Because it's not going to be, everyone's going to get equal snaps. It's part of what happened with the basketball team last year. They did not have any of that. Exactly, right? The lineup not changing. You got your rotations, and then teams figure that out. It's easy to scout. It's a game plan for you. So I feel a resurgence can come, not to jump the gun. Football still has some games left, but you need healthy competition. At the collegiate level, man, to really push each other and to help each other get better. Baseball, I didn't even keep up with baseball. John, the producer, where are we with baseball now? Who's winning?
You're asking the wrong dude. I didn't see any baseball this weekend.
Nobody cares. That's all right. Hey, but we did hear from Tom Allen talking after the game, and of course, he's not, like as Don said, he's not happy, but neither are a lot of fans. I mean, I understand he's he got all the accolades last year. That's got to be hard for him because last year took the program to heights it has not seen, sometimes points never seen. He has the big raise, and then that puts a lot of pressure on you. So now things are not going well, and while we kind of know what the problem is, it's not the head coach, but the head coach is the guy who
puts these people in position and yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, it falls on him. So a lot more pressure started falling on Tom Allen, but let's hear what he had to say. John, what is this clip about? Is this an opening clip?
Man, I should just keep my mic on. Yeah, it's his first question. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I just feel, just still, you got to evaluate why we're not executing those critical situations. You feel good about certain things coming off the bye week, which I did. But continued to be the same issues, as far as not finishing drives in the red zone, moving the football, but not, getting the touchdowns, and eventually that can be the difference, and you lose the game by 5 points and you give up a pick six, which is just can't happen.
I didn't hear any of that. Did you hear any of that, Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
good. I didn't get to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, and I kind of, again, I share the same sentiments. You're moving the football. You look at the stats. You're dominating the stats, the first downs, time of possessions. Can't score, right? You can't score. And I think just he talked about it's kind of frustrating. And I feel that frustration is you got to think coming off a bye week, the things they worked on, there might have been an expectation, and it did not get met.
No,
Did not get met.
I was looking through their stats. I think it was for whenever it was a couple days ago, and I'm going through and then I noticed once you get to a 3rd and 4 or more, they're not very good. It's not good for the offense. And it has to be 3rd and 3 or less for them to have much success. It's like 3rd and 3.5, even from 3rd and 3.5 on, they're terrible on third down conversion.
So you just bring up a great point, and people scout that. They know that. Teams know that. And I'm more than certain that we could probably venture a guess that 3rd and 4th, they probably have more than half of those plays are probably passing plays. I'm more than certain those. And again, we're going to just let you get 2 yards. We're going to let you dink and dunk. We're not going to let you get those. We're not going to let you convert. Right. And I think that's a big deal, because I think in the NFL, they said if you get 7 first downs, possession, it's like almost an 80% chance of you scoring. You got to get first. You got to convert those 3rd and 4s, man. You got to convert those. Got to figure something out.
The sad thing is, though, they dominated Michigan State statistically up and down the field. The defense was, oh my gosh, it's tremendous how they played. Again, golly, you got to feel for them to go out there and just. I can't even equate it to another sport. Really, when you've got 2 different groups like that, we're just killing it on one side, and all they need is just a little help, just a little bit of help to get over. Just a little help. They beat Cincinnati and Michigan State, both teams that are in the top 10. Cincinnati's in the top 5. It's mind-boggling. It really, really is, to be able to play that closely to those teams, but know that, man, they were terrible on offense, and they were still that close. So that tells you how good that defense is.
That's true. And another thing that's mind-boggling, if you look at this on the flip side, and let's be positive. What if we are only at 2 losses at this juncture? Indiana could be a top 10 team, because look at everybody that you've played against that's in the top 10. Because Cincinnati right now has the opportunity to be number 2, right? Is that about right?
Yep.
Literally on the flip side of this, and I'm not, again, this is a big what if, but I think that might also be a part of that frustration. You win 3 more games. You're talking about going from 17 beginning of the season to really being like high bowl eligible, like really high. It's not because, again, not like you're losing all these games outside of Penn State by a lot of margin, but you're not that far off. I just don't know if it's going to be this year. I'm not trying to, I just don't know. I think this year is going to be a learning lesson. I'm not going to give up on it. But I don't know, man. I just don't know what you're not being able to score points like that offensively, and the turnovers that come at a timely time hurt you. I just don't know if this is the year to really say this is the bounce back. You have consistently played for football.
Yeah, let's see what else happened in the Big Ten over this weekend. Get those scores up. Purdue, but that's the first thing I got to talk about. That they go in, and we talked about a little bit with Don, but they go to Iowa City and not just beat Iowa, they put a hammering on them. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, Iowa's offense was not that great. That's why if Indiana could have played well in that game, they could have beat Iowa. I mean, I know everybody's going to think I'm crazy, but no, if you have an offense that plays well like Purdue does, well, you're going to Indiana could have beat. That's another team they could have beat had they had an offense, because that's what Purdue is all about, offense. But their defense stood up. But again, it's hard to watch them go through that. But it is what it is. And now you've got Ohio State coming in. So you've got to wash that. So now you got to wash that tough loss and think that, okay, well, we just played a top 10 team. Well, here comes another one, Ohio State, right at us again. So how do you, Charlie, you get through these losses that you know you could have won, and now you got Mike Tyson next week.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You have to wash it. You can't, you got to think game Saturday, off Sunday, might be a light film study, maybe a total day off due to compliance as far as players getting a day off of rest away from the football field, meetings. So you got to think today, or film has been sent probably to those guys to watch, to get ready to prepare, right? It's kind of like, quick turnaround to get ready for Michigan and what they're going to bring. And you just can't let the remnants of what you did that following week continue. You have to move on. As tough as it may be as a layperson, as tough as it may be as an organization, you have to continue to move on and look forward to this next game. Got to think next game, best game.
Well, right now we look at the standings, and ironically, Michigan State sitting atop of the Big Ten East along with Michigan. Both of those teams are undefeated. Period, and in conference play. Michigan State 4-0 in conference, 7-0 overall. A team Indiana should have beat, could have beat easily. Not easily, they could have won that game. There's Michigan that they haven't played yet. Penn State is 2-1, so Indiana sits 0-3 in conference. No, what is the 0-3? I don't know what that's for, but 2-4 in conference play. Not where we thought that they would be. And now you've got that pressure coming because Ohio State is obviously not expected to be a win. But after that, every game you play at the end of the year, Purdue, Minnesota, Rutgers, and Maryland, they have to win those 4 games. Have to win those 4 games. You have to win those to get to bowl eligibility. That's what it's going to come down to. The Purdue game, if they can win those other ones, will come down to bowl eligibility at Purdue, no less.
Yeah, they need to win, right? I'm good with the bowl, but they need to win really for their own sake. I think their own sanity. Because if they don't, I see. You got to think about some major changes at, coordinators' positions. You got to think about some things. Players, they need to win. Like, this will be a huge win. If we can come up with a win against Michigan, I know it's not expected. Might be a good thing. Stop reading the hype, right?
We got to get to a break here in a second, but Ed asked, what about the clock management? And so we'll get to some of these when we come back from a break. Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the great folks at AAA Insurance. Make sure you check them out if you're in Southwest Indiana, Southern Illinois, down that Evansville area. Be insured by someone you know. 812-477-9966. That's 812-477-9966. Support those who support us bringing this content to you guys. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Hey, we all need insurance, whether this is amazing. I'm able to do a show, Charlie. You don't understand how good that feels.
Man, and I can imagine.
It still hurts a little bit, but not.
That's right.
It ain't killing me. I'm on the bench at least.
That's it. You're watching the game. Still leading.
I'm not ready, my coach.
Forrest, that's my point. We've scored one touchdown. And I don't know if you got to think teams know that. You gotta know teams know that they're not scoring. Punch them, hit them in the mouth when they're down. Don't give them an opportunity. And I don't know if it's gonna get better. I just don't. I'm hoping it does on the football side, but man, that's tough. One touchdown.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Find the Dennis Green rant.
On what?
The Bears.
Practice Dennis Green.
All right, let me see if I can find that for us.
Sometimes you just put on, just get off your phone sometimes.
Is it they are what we thought they were?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only one I can think of with Dennis Green.
I've never seen this. Maybe I just didn't know what it
Oh,
was.
that's a good one for you, brother.
I'll say that lightly. I may have seen it and just not known who it was. I feel like it might be one of them clips that everybody's heard of, but you may just not know who they are.
Yeah, we're dating ourselves now a little bit. I talked about going to. I spoke at a coach's clinic, and I talked about Bloomington. And I was like, training table was at Western Sizzling. They were like, Western Sizzling. It's like you're dating yourself, dude. I said, that was the place to go to.
Hey, this thing's acting like it's not letting me download it. Jim, I'll send you a text when we get back from break.
Yeah, am I able to do it? Am I able to go to it?
You can.
I've got it on my phone, Johnson.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do that then.
Also 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back on this Monday. Hope your day is getting off to a good start. We've talked to Don Fischer already. Charlie Miller's with us. We've got more coming for you. But, right, I just thought of all this stuff we're talking about reminds me of a certain clip.
4 picks against Grossman and 2 fumbles. What did you see about the Bears that would shut them down that way?
No, we just the Bears are what we thought they were. What we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in a preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I just love that, but that's one of the most famous rants in all of sports. Oh, I gotta stop that. My bad. Stop. Can't stop. But that's one of the most famous rants in sports, because what's his daggone it? Allen Iverson's wasn't a rant really. I wouldn't call his a rant. His was a are you serious kind of a deal? But both of those are 2 of the most famous sound clips in sports.
You got Jim Mora too, right? With Jim Mora.
Yeah, forgot about that one, man. Forgot it. Those three. I mean, that's amazing that you could take 3 clips, 2 of which you can describe in one word, and the other one you can say a phrase and you know exactly what you're talking about.
Where it came from.
They were who we thought they were. Oh yeah, Dennis Green. Practice? Oh yeah, Allen Iverson. Playoffs? Talking about it's hilarious. And every one of those clips are how old? I mean
20 plus years old. You got
at
least 20. Yeah, at least 20.
We don't have characters like that anymore, man.
Well, Nick Saban, I like, because when Nick would do, Nick will go in a whole nother direction. You'll ask him about, hey, how's your defense doing? Hey, you guys won handily, how you keep motivated. And he'll go in a whole nother direction I think it's really to throw off, the media, but he'll go a whole nother direction and talk about something that has nothing to do with anything other than really life. So he's pretty quick with it. Coach Nick Saban's pretty quick with it.
Oh yeah, he's not that bad in those Aflac commercials.
Right.
He got Dion with him now too.
Right.
Man, I'll have to see if Derek Jackson is down in Florida now, but he friend of the show. I think he's beginning to co-host now on Wednesdays, but a former football player at Indiana under the Bill Mallory era. But he played high school with Dion.
Okay.
So let's see if we can get Dion. Wow. That would be bad. Damn.
That'd be great, yeah.
I meant to get Dane on, and I forgot to set that up, but my bad. We'll get him on next week. But we'll see about that. Let's see. Robert asked, what about basketball game with Cincinnati? I think that's one of the secret scrimmages.
Yeah, it got canceled. It got canceled due to too many, what Don talked about, too many like minor injuries, and I think they want to be more precautionary. And I think, and it's interesting because Cincinnati ended up playing against Detroit yesterday. So I'm gonna check in with Coach Mike Davis to see if that happened, to get an update if he's open to sharing what how they look. But yeah, so Cincinnati, what happened with IU?
You can have Coach back on the show. He's been on.
Yeah, by all means.
Had him on with John Laskowski and oh gosh, dang it, the coach down at
Dusty May.
Dusty May, yes. Yeah. Were you on that day?
I was not. No.
Okay,
I spoke to Dusty about 2 weeks ago, actually, just on a quick my high school coach. You know what? I need to get my high school coach on this coach because he's a character. Oh my God, he's a character. His name is Charlie.
All characters.
Yeah, he's a character, man. And actually,
there's no way if your name's Charlie, you cannot be a character. Because everybody started the original character is Charlie Brown, who wasn't legit character. So
and I gotta tell you the honest truth. My mother's maiden name is Brown.
Oh man, that would have been close, man.
You're
lucky. You're lucky.
It'd have been something else. It'd have been wonk, right?
Oh man.
Right. But no, seriously, my mother's name is Brown. But funny story, I talked to Dusty a couple weeks ago. He's the head coach at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida. And Dusty, hey Charlie, how you doing? How you been back yet? No, I look forward to seeing everybody, what's going on, a good buzz. He said, man, Coach Funk is hilarious, man. He said, we're about to take the court. We're about to play 5 minutes. The game, 5 minutes left before the game starts. He's trying to call you so you can say hi to me. I'm like, Coach Funk, where you coming? Literally, here's a head coach getting ready for his game, but my high school coach is trying to get his attention to talk to me on the phone for a couple seconds. Come on, Coach. That can wait till later. But, it's like once you feel you got that loyalty or that prestige, man, you always feel like you got it.
Absolutely. Let's see. What else went on? I see somebody put in some comments up that where did I miss one? Tennessee fans throwing trash on the field. What was that about? Volunteer fans
Lane
out
Kiffin.
This weekend assume
Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss. They won kind of last second. Lane Kiffin has some bad blood with Tennessee when he left. And the student
where
body,
does he
man,
not have bad blood?
Yeah, but They looked the rest of the field. They were throwing water bottles. They were throwing all kind of objects. Amazing, man. That was a spectacle to see.
Now, was that before the game?
That was after. Kind of like about 54 seconds left. They had to delay the end of the game because literally the student section, everybody's trying to run on the field, right? So police are surrounding, making sure no one gets close to them. And then, they were literally throwing all kind of objects out on the. John, if you can get that clip, that'd be pretty much amazing to watch, man. Just wow.
There's one on ESPN that I just saw they were talking to him. So he held up a little yellow ball. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, it was like a golf ball.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see.
Yeah.
Now, if that's what that is.
No, they were throwing all kind of stuff. Yeah,
dude's got a golf ball. Yeah, I hope he can pull that clip up, John. I'm just on ESPN looking at it, but
yeah. There's like a 54-second clip, I believe, on YouTube. You might be able to pull up. But yeah, it was.
Now, see that I don't care who you are. I don't care what that is. Whoever that person is that threw that golf ball, they need to let somebody stand up and take a driver and drive right into their biz. Because that hurts. Man. You hit somebody with a golf ball that's thrown from the stands, picking up velocity. Now, if it's a player with a helmet on, it's probably not going to hurt him, but it could hit him in the eye. But just the sheer thought of throwing anything like that,
just sheer thought of bringing something like that with that.
Yeah, exactly.
You had intent. You had intent. You didn't just go, I got a ball in my pocket. I had intent, right? So, I'm hoping they're looking for that student, whoever might have done that, to expel him, expunge them from even coming to a game, man, because no matter what happens, that's what we got to understand sometimes as fans. Coaches have agents, right? Coaches have agents. They have people that represent them, and coaches are always looking for what I would call the best opportunity, just like players are, right? And the loyalty will be as good as the program or the next opportunity that may come about. That's what I discuss with players all the time. You got to realize that as you're looking to get promoted, if you're playing at the prep school level, whatever sport it might be, junior college level, your coaches are too. That's why you might want to ask that pertinent question. Do you have intentions to be here all 3 years, all my years of being here to really help me develop? Or are you looking to get promoted and everybody's in that same business to do so?
I agree with that. I was kind of reading over that.
You're good, brother.
Up on the
You're good, brother.
On Lane Kiffin there, but he caught a water bottle on his way out, and he threw his visor into the stands and said they were fighting over who could get it. But yeah, there was the stuff that they were talking about was thrown on the field. Oh my gosh! Let's see, an empty. Where did I start out? Water bottles, vape pipes, screws, a half-eaten apple, and an empty mustard bottle. They said he kept the golf ball as a souvenir.
The empty mustard bottle. That's what threw me off. Okay,
you gotta go up to the concession stand, man.
And I was able to get it in because it's plastic, right? And you know how Heinz and everybody's done now with making it look burnt orange or red, like it's full. So
that's nuts.
So yeah, that's just. Oh man, it'd be great to watch.
I'm gonna have to watch that, man. I don't get to watch it.
Yeah,
John, the wildest and ugliest scenes in college football. Wow.
He was talking with the officials. Oop. Got him on the right elbow.
What was that? The golf ball.
Whatever it was. Just think you hit him in the eye.
So that was the green golf ball was coming at him. You saw him kind of flinch and react to it. I didn't want to pull too much more of that video because it is part of ESPN, and I don't want to,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This,
I'm just I couldn't hear that, so I got to get my speakers fixed, whatever that is. But yeah, that's crazy. I don't care who you are. That's not acceptable. Period, man. Why? What did he do to those people personally? How does he hurt you? How did he affect your life? And if he affected your life simply by leaving, then you're an idiot. You've got no life, man. That's nuts.
Well,
I mean,
to me, it kind of
we
goes
sit up here
into.
we sit up here and talk about these athletes and criticize and whatnot, and praise, but that's what we're supposed to do, and that's okay. Right. And if you want to scream words, that's okay too, because sticks and stones, all that, they have to have thicker skin to be able to take that. I don't have a problem with that. But when you're throwing things that can hurt people, you can hurt somebody who's not even intended to be. A golf ball? Are you serious?
My whole point.
That's it's ridiculous.
And I think, again, that's almost like the folklorish mystique we put on these coaches. Like, okay, he's going to come to Tennessee and resurrect us, and we're going to get back to our heyday. And he does not. He leaves abruptly for a better opportunity, whatever it might have been.
But he did that everywhere. That's the funny thing.
My whole point. Everywhere he's gone, he's left. He's not stayed. He was actually at FAU at one point in time, right? As the head football coach when they first started their program back up. But needless to say, that's just kind of, again, we put too much reverence, I think, sometimes on these coaches. And then you can only imagine all week what was probably being built up from sport talk shows in the area, fans, students, and how the game was probably being marketed. And not saying it had anything to do with it, but you can almost kind of venture a guess it had a little bit to do with it.
Ed asked, is the secret practice still on against Bellarmine? They're not playing Bellarmine. Indiana is playing in Louisville against Belmont from Nashville. So it's kind of a meet, kind of halfway kind of a deal. It's not halfway for Belmont quite, right. But they're supposed to play in Louisville, which would imagine I would imagine in the Yum Center. But you know what? Since it's a no fans, they could play at Bellarmine. I'll have to see if I can find out where that game's actually going to be played. But yeah, that's supposed to take place in Louisville. But again, if they're not healthier, they may not have it. Depends. When is that supposed to happen? John, do you have no? I don't have to look that up. They probably
wait. Is that us, Indiana?
Yeah.
Right. You talking about Indiana?
Yep.
Okay.
They were going to have two secret.
I thought that was only that one.
No, they had two scheduled. The second one was to play in Louisville against Belmont from Nashville. So I don't know if that one's going to take place either. We'll have to see. Pete pointing out LSU. I hate this. I've lost. I can't even do the impersonation now. I can't get it. It's not there. But LSU parts ways with Coach Orgeron. That's not a surprise because it's way more about wins and losses here. They're able to use that to part ways. I'm sure they're behind the doors are like, dude, here's all this stuff that we got to deal with. We have to deal with because of you. You're not winning on top of that. But they probably would have been fine from a wins and losses standpoint if they didn't have all this other off the field stuff that they're dealing with. So not surprising. And this will be the second consecutive coach that they've had to dismiss within a few years for things not to do with wins and losses. And then one of their coaches, Les Miles, he went to Kansas and it was saying, it's like, man, people don't tell the truth. They coaches like, oh yeah, he's good to work with. Oh yeah, no, he's not. Tell the truth. Why are you going to put that on somebody else's university now? Tell them the truth. People, they don't tell the truth, and it blows my mind. I would be friggin' PO'd if I hired someone and they didn't tell me, and the other school didn't tell me the truth, and I'd reached out to them. I would be livid. But that's me.
Well, and that's why they pay so much money, right? And get all the investigators and to really understand who they're hiring. And it also is a testament to your recruiting too, because the violations and all the things that happen ends up hurting the players more than anything. Because again, I just talked about it in a sense. They recruited. They're coming to play for him. He's gone. You can only imagine now several players being in transfer portal because, okay, hey, what is it going to look like next year, right? We came here to play for Coach O. He's gone. We got to go somewhere else. What happened to Jim?
It looks like Jim dropped out for a second. I'm not sure what's going on, but it is break time, so we're going to go ahead and take our breaks while we're trying to reconnect with Jim. Oh, here he comes. Jim, you want to go ahead and send us to break?
Yep. Sorry about that. My bad. Absolutely. We got a lot more coming up. Josh Hoover, is he up next?
No, next is Angelo Pizzo.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Next. All right.
Nice.
Looking forward to that, man. Good friend of the show. We're back with Angelo Pizzo right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
If you're in the market for
Angelo, then Josh.
I'm not sure if we'll have video for Angelo. He did ask me if it was going to be audio only or video, but
what did you tell him?
I told him it was live on YouTube. If you have a camera, you can use it, and if you can't, then obviously we'll still have your audio, and I can, throw up a picture.
Yep. Wow, that stinking hour went fast, man.
Sure did.
I'm making it through. I'm making it through, Charlie. I'm happy about that. Holy crap.
Stuff. Put your rehab on. Your rehab on doing
pump up the volume, pump up the volume,
right.
Pump up the volume.
That's right.
Boom, boom.
Willis Reed over there, man. Josh, you know about Willis? John, you know about Willis Reed, John?
Man,
I do
you
not
don't know what you're talking about. Come on. You talking about the Knicks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Willis Reed.
Come on, man. He
dude
played
had
with
like a broken ankle and finished the game. I mean, just like gladiator style, dude.
He played, who he played with? Phil Jackson was on that team.
Yeah, hey, he like coming in and out of the game, broken ankle.
New York Knicks back
Just
in like
out of his
71, I
freaking
think.
mind.
Oh yeah, I've broken 3 ribs 2 different times when I was roping, competing in rodeo.
Goodness.
And both times, 1 week later, I was competing again, and I was not supposed to be on a horse for 6 weeks, but I just took one of those, band wraps, and I'd have a friend help me and pull it as tight as he could pull it, run a piece of tape around it so you could barely breathe. But it's like everything just got to keep everything in place, And actually, as long as it didn't turn like that, it was fine. I made it through, but probably wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do. But
it's never smart when you're doing it.
Cowboys aren't too smart.
That's right.
I let him know we were ready for him. I'm not sure when he'll join, but he'll join when he's ready, I'm sure.
That's quite all right. Well, when you're a big-time Hollywood producer, you can do whatever you want.
I'm getting a photo ready just in case he doesn't have a video.
Charlie, do you know all of his work?
Hoosiers, Rudy.
Yeah, he's involved with Rudy too.
All-American. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on it.
All right, I'm going to bring us back in.
Sam's Place in Broad Ripple has wings, tender steaks, and seafood. Sam's Ale House in Carmel and on 86th Street in Indy have a long list of craft beers and all of the right foods to go with. Plan a day on the links at Eagle Point in Bloomington, then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink. This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Don't forget, Southern Stone Restaurant hosts the Indiana Coaches Show. Football's going on Wednesdays. Angelo Pizzo joins us now. Angelo, how you been, man?
I'm good. I can't hear you very well. I don't know.
Well, we'll talk louder. Charlie Miller's also with us, former IU basketball player.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
How you doing, sir? Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too.
That's right.
Angelo, a big fan of a Hoosier fan, but also because he was born and raised in Bloomington, Indiana. Before we get into sports, your parents actually immigrated here, didn't they not?
I'm
from
sorry,
Sicily.
I still can't hear you.
That's okay. I was like, but your parents actually immigrated from Sicily to this country, did they not?
Actually, my father was born in Sicily, and he was like 1 year old. He was 1 year old when his father.
Oh, we lost your mic. We'll get his back on there, but yeah, it's just we've talked about a lot of different things with Angelo was with us, but not that. I didn't even realize that. May have to have him check back in, but talking about his dad was only a year old and they came over to this country, I guess, but he went to USC. And Angelo, if you can still hear us, we can't hear you at the moment. So we'll see if he can get his mic fixed. He's going to check back in. That's probably the best thing. But yeah, can you imagine having a dad, your father, come here from Sicily? That's like the epicenter of. That's where the Godfather was born, man.
Right. Well, but I mean, just the sheer essence of. I mean, back in the early days, 30s, 40s, people looking for a better life for their kids, right? I mean, and doing all you had to do, going to a foreign land, landing in out of all places, Bloomington. He goes to University High School where we used to practice. The U school, we called it, right? We called it the U school. The U school still exists? Yeah. I was asking about the U school. That's where you went to school.
University High School?
Yeah, that's where we used to practice at.
The lady that runs that program, I knew nothing about that, Charlie. The lady that runs that program, and we need to talk about that, lives where I live.
Yeah, it was University High School, and it was right by the golf course, right around the corner from the golf course, and that's where, because there was no extra facility. And I wanted to talk about that. How was it going to school there, in a sense? But yeah, there was no facility, so that's where we practice at.
Angelo, can you hear us now?
Perfectly. Sorry about that.
No, it's not what we were talking about. University High School, basically. I just learned about that like 6-8 months ago because the person that runs that now lives where I live, and Charlie, let's go ahead. You were just talking about.
No, I was just saying that's where we would practice at. When Assembly Hall was not available, and right. And it was not occupied other than when we went to practice over there. But I was just talking about the amazement of you going to University High School, right? And right in Bloomington, and we're talking about your father who immigrated from Sicily and just for a better life, and and look years later what you're able to produce in the movies you've done. That's just amazing to me.
Well, actually, it was your grandfather, right?
I'm sorry?
Angelo, I said you really consider your grandfather as the one that immigrated here, right? Is that what you were saying?
Yes, because my father was a year old. And, he was hired by a railroad to work laying track. Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
And the University High School gym that you're talking about, the girls volleyball team played there for many, many years until their facility was built.
Okay,
and that's only 2 years ago.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Wow. So it's all, but that's so amazing. See all of that. You always learn more and more. I love learning more about people. But what was it like going to University High School? Because it's a very, very different setup from your traditional high school.
Well, what Charlie's referring to is the high school on the bypass and 10th Street. Actually, I went to the University High School that was built, and I went there my last 2 years.
Got it.
But prior to that, starting in kindergarten and then going all the way through my sophomore year, the University High School was located on campus. Where the old education school used to be. Now it's part of the music school, but that was right on 3rd and Jordan, and so the
right
campus
by Reed Dormitory.
Was
it by Reed Dormitory?
Well, you know where Mother Bears is. It's right down. Where I'm talking
Okay,
about.
there we go.
A Third
There
and
we go.
Jordan.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
right next to the MAC, the music school. So that building, and listen, the campus was our playground, and
that's what I'm
we that was our life right there. We used to ride our bikes all around campus, and it was always a thrill to see basketball and football players because we followed it so closely, and still do.
Wow, that's amazing.
And is that even so? When going to a non-traditional high school like that, how did you get to follow? I mean, you're obviously a lover of sports of all takes because your films, which you're not tied into that to just sports, but you produced two of the greatest films of all time, sports athletic films of all time. Was that your love for sports developed there being so next? Because you were close to the golf course, close to all the facilities at that time that had anything to do with putting that into your head?
Well, think about it this way. Our first house was on 7th and Jordan, which was literally one block from the old football stadium and 2 blocks from the old field house. So when I was 6, 7 years old, I used to go over 2 blocks away and watch the team practice.
My goodness.
And so the proximity of those teams to my very enclosed world was profound. So yes, and the players were my heroes, and I would live and die as a 6-year-old, whether they would win or lose. So, and things still don't change this many years later.
That's amazing. I mean, so for people that don't know, I mean, that's why I wanted to go through that, because you are a Bloomingtonian through and through, which is amazing. I mean, I'm surprised. The only movie I wish that you should have been a part of also is Breaking Away. That would have been like the Triple Crown. That would have just been phew. But
I was actually in graduate school at USC in film while that was being produced. And that's the one thing. I grew up in Bloomington, went to Indiana, and then I went to grad school in Southern California.
Right.
And stayed there for 32 years. So I moved back to Bloomington in 2006 because I wanted to raise my 2 sons in a great college town environment.
Can you imagine if you had been here while Breaking Away was being filmed? Did you already had a love for or a desire for filmmaking at that time? I would assume. Did you already know that that's what you wanted to do? When did you decide that? Or when did that dawn on? Hey, I want to go into making a film.
Well, it's kind of a little bit of a complicated question because I got my undergraduate degree in political science, and I was on a law school politics track, but then I dropped out because at that time I was very involved in the anti-war movement, the Vietnam War, and I just didn't want to be involved in politics at all, and didn't want to go to law school. So I took 2 years off and I kind of wandered, and I had fun, but then I started to realize I had to make a life for myself and make a living as an adult. And had a long discussion with my father, who was a doctor, and his greatest gift beside his family was getting up every day and going to a job that he loved. So he said, find something that you love, and you won't work a day in your life. And I only loved one thing, and that was movies. And I didn't know how to. I didn't think of myself as a filmmaker, and I didn't know how to make a living at it. But then I did some investigation and research into film schools, and I found out that there were 3 significant schools, NYU, UCLA, and USC, that gave doctorates in the academic approach to film. So I was admitted to USC in a kind of the scholarly approach, which is history, theory, and criticism. That was my degree, history, theory, and criticism. I did not go there to learn how to make movies. I learned to go there to write and then ultimately teach, film studies courses. And I was hoping to get back to Indiana to do that.
Well,
so it was only there that I started to get to know some of the filmmakers. And then I took a 3-hour credit course which was the last season of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. It was an internship, and I got to know some people there. And one of them hired me as a production assistant and on a television series, and it was off to the races for me.
You've been on with us a few times. You've been a great friend of the show, but this is stuff that we've never got to uncover, which is cool. I love dropping little nuggets. Did you know that Mick Jagger's dad has a master's degree from Indiana in health education and phys ed? I think he got it in like 69. I just learned that like 3 weeks ago, and I've been telling everybody.
It's crazy. I sort of remember that. That rings a bell. Yeah.
That's nuts, but I'll just bring it up. But it shows how much talent comes from everywhere. It doesn't matter. And for you to come back, is great. What drew you back so much? I know you wanted to raise your kids here, but there's just more to it that for you personally, it's probably a lot less hustle and bustle than LA. That's for certain.
Well, to me, one of the things that I realized that I missed, and it was a growing realization, was the lack of a sense of community where I lived. I didn't know my neighbors. Nobody asked me to participate in any kind of, civic involvement. When I moved back to Bloomington, I was asked by probably 7 or 8 groups to be on their boards. Well, that would never have happened in Santa Monica, California. It's so ephemeral. Everybody's coming and going, and very few people actually kind of put their roots down there, especially in the film business, because fortunes are made and lost overnight, and people always come from other places. So I never felt a connection to the people I lived around me. I mean, I would have temporary connections when I'd make a movie, but then the movie's over and then I never see these people again. So I think that was that felt like a big hole, and Bloomington's a very strong community. And, it's not that I had so many friends that were still here, but I had enough. That was a great foundation. So, I get together with the same people, and we bitch about the same things and celebrate the same things. And I didn't really do that because I would have friends that would be who are in the film business who would have really great streaks, and then they disappear because they couldn't get work. That was the main thing.
Forrest, one of our listeners, did his student teaching at the university school. So that's very cool. One of our everyday listeners. We appreciate that. Let's talk about some sports, man. We just had IU basketball or the Big Ten media days last week. The basketball season right around the corner. Lots of changes. Coach Woody is, I've got to tell you, from a unbiased perspective, what he's doing, you have to, if you're an Indiana fan, I think you're going to be very, very happy what you see this year on the floor. There's no question the product is going to be sleek and shiny.
Well, I've always been accused of being a guy who's not, the glass is not half full for Indiana sports. It's 3/4 full. So I'm always optimistic before every season. Even as Woody says, I haven't lost a game yet, but of course he hasn't won a game either. So, all the pieces feel like they're coming together, but we haven't seen those pieces on the floor together. And I'm extremely optimistic and very bullish on this team. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the season to start.
Are you working on anything now? I know every time we talk to you, you've got so many things going on. What do you got going now? Any projects that you can talk about or want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I have the script that I mentioned before is a finance film about a coming of age movie set against the Civil War. I'll be shooting that in the spring. We're going to make offers to actresses coming up in the next month.
Where's that get shot?
We don't know yet. It'll be either Georgia or Kentucky.
I'm going to come be an extra. Can we come be extras? I'm going to
absolutely.
Yeah.
You
I'm there.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
I'll send my resume. I'll send my resume. Just want to sing.
My family. Ironically, my dad was born probably 20 miles, maybe 10 miles from Perryville, Kentucky, which is where one of those battles were. And I actually had a gun that I think was found from that era that I had for a long, long time. But yeah, I know that area well down there. That's weird. My dad was there's a book out called The Cornbread Mafia that I love, that I've read through. That is where my dad is from, that very county. It's Marion County, Kentucky, and it was the home base for the largest marijuana syndicate in the United States ever in the 70s and 80s. But yeah, that area has just got so many stories down there though. But that's fascinating.
Well, it's a true story that somebody brought me, and it was amazing. When I say coming of age, most people think of coming of age stories as being about boys becoming men. This is actually about a girl. It's about a 17-year-old girl and her journey from 17 on, and it's pretty extraordinary. She becomes one of the only female soldiers in the history of the Civil War, and she didn't intend to be a soldier, but she was a girl who lost touch with her fiance who was fighting at Shiloh, and she couldn't get any kind of word from him at all. So she cut her hair off and put boys' clothes on and joined the regiment that he was part of and got shipped down there to find him. And that's the beginning of the story, so to speak. So it's a tremendous story. But I will say I'm doing one more sports film, and I'm writing the script now. I'm just finishing it up. And I was kind of resisting going to this sport again, but I got a call from somebody who was extremely important in the indigenous Native American world today. A guy who is the principal reason that the Washington football team changed their name and the Cleveland baseball team changed their name. Wow. And he asked me to write a story that's never been done, that was a source of pride for their people, and he wants to dramatize it, and that's the Carlisle Indian School with Jim Thorpe, the football team. How they were so prominent in beating the big Ivy League schools back in the turn of the century. So I'm doing that story now, writing that script now.
And if you don't know who Jim Thorpe is, just hang up, stop listening. No, I'm kidding. Possibly the greatest athlete of all time. I would say one of them, but
I would say that what he did compared to the other athletes at that time, you could call him maybe the greatest athlete who ever lived, because he was a great football player, a great baseball player, and he won the decathlon in the 1912 Olympics. Which obviously is a demonstration of athleticism that's second to none.
Yeah. Was it Oklahoma where he was from? And did they change the name of the town?
Yes, they did. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's very, very
But I'm
cool.
not doing his story. I'm not doing his story.
I know. I was just remember.
Yeah.
Charlie, jump in, Charlie. I know because you got always had
No. I just, I was on a call. You may not remember this, Angelo. It was probably about a summer ago and you actually was gracious enough to jump on a Zoom call.
No, I remember.
And I was a part of that. You know, and to me, what was intriguing, to kind of go back to it and this is kind of like a feel-good story, because it's like you didn't have an intention to make a movie. It wasn't even on your horizon, but something intrigued you. What was that intrigued you? And all of a sudden, you come up with this concept that's now like an evergreen movie called Hoosiers. How did it even come about?
Well, when I went to work for that that producer. I ended up doing executive kind of development work, producerial work for 6 years. But I wasn't making my own movies. I was supporting and helping other people make their movies. So it occurred to me that if I was going to do something of my own, it would have to be about something I had a passion for and something that I knew pretty well. And just like this Native American fellow who realized that no one has ever made a story about the Carlisle football team, I realized that no one had made a movie about the special relationship of the sport of basketball to the people of Indiana. And I knew there was a classic folk myth that was sort of at the center of this, and that was the Milan story. So that kind of just started, the idea rolling. And I wasn't initially going to write it myself. I would look for people to hire to write it, and then I was going to produce it. And I wanted to bring my best friend David Anspo in to direct it, and make it an all Hoosier production. The one issue I did have with Breaking Away was the director was from England, and he had never heard of the state of Indiana when he took the job. So a number of the cast members, and I grew up in Bloomington, who were supposed to represent the Cutters, so to speak, they were nothing like the people I grew up with. So, it didn't matter. The movie was terrific and it worked, but it mattered to me if I was going to make a movie about Indiana basketball. I wanted to make sure it was Indiana people who made it. So there was a real connection between the cast and how people walked and talked and chewed gum. And I wanted the details to be perfect. And I wanted Indiana to be a character in the movie. So I thought it had to be an all Indiana production.
Nice. When are you scheduled to start shooting that down there? Are you still scouting locations, or are you guys?
It will depend on availability of actresses. We were going to shoot it this fall, but because of the pandemic, everything had been closed down. Everything then opened up in the spring, and there was no availability for any of the top 10 actresses of that age through the rest of the year. So we had to push it in order to have the flexibility to get the person we wanted.
Looking forward to it, man. Josh Hoover has joined us, but he's going to be on with us next. But Josh Hoover, a quarterback from Texas, committed to Indiana. Angelo, man, this guy is lighting it up down in Texas.
How you doing?
I've actually, I'm believe it or not, I'm as passionate football fan as IU football fan as I am a basketball fan. Awesome. I know many of the coaching, many of the coaches and the staff, and Tom Allen, I consider a friend of mine, and he's such a good man, such an amazing man. And I have to tell you, I've watched a number of your highlights, and I've watched some of the, and I'm very, very impressed.
I appreciate it. So
I hate to say this, but we could use you now.
I swear, I've been thinking that.
I know. Don't comment. I know you.
Yeah, don't. I was going to say, Josh, don't do it. Don't do it, Josh. Just smile.
Yeah, no. I know. Listen, it's a tough job. It's easy for us, sitting in the stands.
That's right.
But it all comes from a disappointment and love of our team, and trying to figure out, what the solutions are to make things better. But, listen, the program is in a great place. We, everything is not quite working now, but our defense is fantastic. And you'll be a fantastic addition to the team next year.
I know you're down in Texas, Josh.
I made a movie about football in Texas.
Oh, which one was it?
It was called My All American.
My All American.
Oh, I've seen that. Yes, sir.
Freddie Steinmark he played at the University of Texas, and we shot that in Austin, and is mostly in Austin. But we shot at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, and we also shot at TCU Stadium in Fort Worth. So
yeah, I've seen a number of your movies. So
thank you. You should take a look at that football. I'm very proud of that film.
Absolutely,
because it was the first. It was the first film I directed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I've seen Hoosiers for we've probably seen it 25 times. So that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well, thank you.
That's amazing.
Have you seen Rudy?
Oh yeah, that's another one. Our dog's named Rudy, so that's we named it after that movie.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Here's a golfing story for you, Angelo. While during the COVID, Josh couldn't do anything. They were all at home, so his dad built a little chipping green out back. He had never played golf in his life, so all he did was chip and putt during COVID, and he went out for his first round ever and shot like an 82 in his life.
Oh, my gosh.
I know
Crazy.
you don't play a lot, but you have a son that plays a lot of golf, right?
Well, he was a scholarship golfer, at IUPUI,
Oh, wow.
and he's actually made a switch to acting and filmmaking, and he's down in Augusta right now, about to start a film that I wrote that just got a green light that's starring Dennis Quaid.
Nice.
And
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, and it's and he's looking forward to playing that on the Augusta Country Club.
Nice.
So I have a friend who's a member who's going to get him on. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Dennis Quaid was in Breaking Away.
Yeah, yes, he was. And I'm going to tell my son to say hello from Bloomington for that way. No, actually, I'm going to go down and do a little bit of I'm going to work a little bit on the script, but then I'm going to visit my son. That's in about a month.
Man,
but I would say it doesn't surprise me. One of the things it's interesting about golfers is they have great hand-eye coordination. And I know, Josh, to be the kind of successful athlete you are, you have to have great hand-eye. So that kind of thing it picked up real easily, and I mean, the full swing is hard, as you well know. But if you get the chipping and putting down, that's a great foundation.
Yeah, golf's a fun sport. I mean, it teaches you a lot, especially about how to compete and how to respond to adversity. So I've really enjoyed playing it and getting to know the game and getting out there. So,
well, you can look forward to a great golf course. Indiana has one of the top golf courses, college golf courses in the country.
Yes,
and Josh was just up here, Angelo. On your
I saw that you were here. Did you play at the course?
I didn't. No, we drove by and saw it's called the Foul, right? Is that how you say it?
Yep, the Foul course. Yeah. Yes, the Foul course.
Awesome.
Ned Fowl is a big IU supporter from Southern Indiana down in Jeffersonville. But looking forward to that.
One of the things that I think is so unique about Josh and where he plays and how he plays is his fan base is bigger than many colleges in the country. I mean, the number of people that come to your games is insane. You got like 30,000 people at each one of your games.
Well, against Rockwall, our rival, I think there was like 22,000 people that showed up at the game. So it's
that's crazy.
It's definitely Texas football it's kind of like Indiana basketball. It's a big deal, and I'm excited about coming to Indiana just because you can tell the people of Indiana want to be good so bad, and they're just itching for success. So I'm excited about trying to be a part of that and helping you guys experience success on football too. So.
Well, we're looking forward to we're having you up here, and what's great about playing at big time high school football in Texas is it's not much of a transition to get to run out in front of a full stadium in the Big Ten.
Right. Yes, sir.
Although it is a little different when you're running out into the like Michigan with 110,000.
Yeah, no doubt, but it's it does help being from Texas because we played in front of 40,000, 50,000 people before. So
sure.
So did you guys have a bye week this week, Josh? Is that why you were able to come make the visit?
We did. We had a bye week, so I left Friday morning and then came up Friday night and hung out, and then Saturday and Sunday. So it was a good weekend. It really was.
And Angelo, I don't want to keep you too long.
No, it's all right. I got nowhere to go.
Perfect. We'll take a break in a second, but let's go ahead and take a break real quick and come back and we can talk about the visit, and we'll do that. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Andy Moore Honda Bloomington. If you need a new car, they've got deals for you of $0 down and 0 APR financing. Back right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration or just stupid breaks, I hate doing that, man. But that was awesome. Did you? There's no way in the world, Josh, you could have imagined getting to talk to the man that is behind Rudy and the Hoosiers and all of that.
I had no idea I was getting on with one of my favorite guy who wrote two of my favorite movies. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's pretty awesome.
I will say, it's funny. I met Jack Tuttle, about a year ago, and at a class, and he told me that Hoosiers is one of his favorite movies, and he told me his favorite line in the movie was when Jimmy Chitwood says to the coach, "I'll make it."
I'll make it.
Yeah, and it just so happened that I had been at the Hoosier Gym, which is the gym that they've turned into a museum where where their home where they played their home games, and there was a hat that they gave me that said, "I'll make it." So I had that. Awesome. I gave that hat to Jack. And
wow!
I hear he wore it a lot. So yeah, that was nice.
I guarantee I would. That would have been awesome. That's you have to visit that, Josh. I know it's east of Indianapolis, Josh. When you get here, it's probably if you're in Bloomington, it might be an hour and a half, quite 2-hour drive for you, but I promise you it's worth it. You've got to go there because it's open to the public. You go in, you can shoot in there. Oh, wow. It's wild. And it looks the same. You walk into the locker room and you're like, how the hell did they shoot in here?
Yeah.
Because it's tiny. I'm not kidding.
And they have a bunch of Hoosiers memorabilia there. Myself and David, we've given a bunch of our stuff there. So it's a great repository. It's kind of like a museum in a way to the movie. So it's special.
It really.
We had Bob on last week. Bob, who runs the museum.
Sure, Bob Garner. Yeah,
he was on call last week.
Yeah, he's a good man.
I'm fortunate. I've been there a couple times. Charlie, have you ever made it there?
I have not, but I plan on it because I talked to him about potentially doing some basketball camps or something of that nature.
Because they do a lot of that stuff there.
Right.
Oh,
right. He talked about the high school girls, doing things. So yeah.
Yeah, they play all-star games there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, have some great games. I grew up when I was in high school, I was in Georgetown, Indiana, which is southern Indiana. But the gym there, exact same. It's an exact that same tongue and groove paneling on the side walls that are about this far off the sidelines.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. We're coming back in though.
No problem. AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you on this Monday. Hopefully getting your week off to a great start. I don't know how it couldn't be because we've got Angelo Pizzo with us and Josh Hoover, quarterback from Texas, committed to Indiana, and Charlie Miller, All-American, former All-American, IU basketball player. The only flunky you got here is me, so I'll play that role quite well. Josh, how was your visit? You got to actually come up and see things, facilities. A tough loss for Indiana over the week while you were here against Michigan State, but a pretty good game. The defense played amazingly, but just missing a little bit. And like Angelo said, you could maybe fill that hole. Who knows? But is that your first Big Ten game that you've got to see in person?
Yeah, that was the first one I've ever been to, and it was definitely exciting. It was cool to get there on the be in Bloomington with a game day atmosphere because I came in the summer, but COVID was going on, so there wasn't many kids at the campus. But it was really cool to be there and to see how everything goes down, and be at the walk and see Coach Allen and the team get off the buses, and so I really just thought it was a cool atmosphere, and I thought it was a good game, but just a few unfortunate circumstances that happened. But I think it's Coach Allen talked a lot about how growth charts. It's not always a continuous upward trend, and there's going to be some points and times where you go through a rough patch, but that just makes it even better in the long run. So I'm excited about the team and these next couple weeks, and I feel like they're going to break through at some point.
Your season's going pretty spectacular right now. You guys only have one loss, and that's to one of the top teams down there, and that was by a point. I think you guys, what, 6-1 right now?
Yes, sir. 6-1.
So how many more regular season games do you have before your playoffs start?
We'll have 3 more. So we have 3 more regular season and 6 potential playoff games to win a state championship.
Angelo, he's already thrown for, I think, 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 60-something percent, like 68% completion percentage. It's crazy. But, man, that's fun to watch. And, Angelo, you said you watched some of his highlights. I did as well a while back, and I was like, wow. I was just blown away at all of the throws and this maturity it seemed to be. I'm like, this is a high school kid? Amazing.
Yeah, I was amazed how you were able to read the field, how you would look at one receiver, look off another receiver, and you had such calm in the pocket. You seem very, very calm in the pocket. Let me ask you a couple questions. One is, who would you compare your game to in terms of, and who are the quarterbacks that we know that people have told you play like? That's the first question. And the second question are, who are your quarterback heroes that you emulate that you wish you could play like?
Great.
Yeah, well, the first one's kind of try not to sound like I'm comparing myself to anybody because I'm obviously not there yet. And a lot of those guys are way farther along than I am, and I hope to be there someday. But, a lot of people have kind of I have this thing where I can kind of change arm angles a little bit just from playing baseball. And, I think that allows me to throw from different arm slots and go down low, kind of like you see Mahomes and Stafford and those guys do. And so I think I'm able to do that. And, I'm not a blazer. You're not going to see me take off 80 yards down the field and outrun everybody, but, I can extend plays and get first downs. And so I've tried to work on that, and that's something this year that I feel like I've gotten better at. And so, I think that's kind of – I compare myself to Stafford or the way they play the game. I'm obviously not there yet, but that kind of style. And that's someone who I also watch a lot, Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and, all those guys. You can learn from everybody. So Stafford's a Dallas guy, and I really enjoy watching him play.
What about Drew Brees?
Oh, yeah, Drew Brees. He's from Texas, too, and so that was another guy I really watched when he was playing.
Yeah, one of the things that struck me about your game was how accurate you were, and that's Drew Brees, right, in a nutshell.
Right.
And
yes,
he's not like 6'5" and has a rocket of an arm, but boy, does he get the job done. And you get the job done too. I mean, you got a great arm. I'm not saying you don't, but I was impressed. You kind of remind me of Drew Brees a little bit.
I appreciate it. That's a big compliment. So, Drew Brees is definitely a guy I've always watched and admired. Just not only the way he plays the game, but how he is off the field and the kind of man he is too. So,
I agree.
I admired.
Charlie?
Josh, you say you got 3 games. Interestingly enough, I live in Texas. I live actually in Carrollton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I live in Carrollton. So I want to come to at least one of the last 3 games.
Yes, sir.
I definitely want to do that. I don't want to watch in person. And also, as a former Hoosier, I finished college in '98, and it'll be great to meet you and
for sure,
just to watch you play and just really celebrate you, man. It's a tremendous opportunity. I remember back when I was 17, 16, getting ready to go to Indiana and coming up on when no students were there. So a similar situation. I came doing like a fall break and nobody was on campus. And I fell in love with the campus without the students. So I can only imagine what you were able to experience, man. So hats off to you and your decision. And I know you're looking to coming up after your season early, right? You're coming early. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I am. So I'm prepared to come in January.
That's good, man. Yeah, that's all I had. I just wish you the best, man. I mean, just, and now hopefully I get a chance to meet you offline and share with you a little bit about me but more, man, I just want to celebrate you and what you're able to accomplish and, continue to rock out, man, and play as well as you can.
Well, I appreciate it. And I can send you a schedule of, where we play and the times, and we'll hook that up. But it's nice having you guys. I've met a few guys that went to Indiana, and it seems like the alumni. There's always the big support, no matter what it is, no matter what sport. So that's something I always kind of notice. Just being up there and meeting people, and the people of Indiana are really just great people, and you can see that extends to a bunch of different states when everybody moves off. So it's a special state, and I'm excited to be able to come up and try to make an impact.
Well, for
you
me,
have
man,
you have a fellow Hoosier.
My last piece. I'm just share as a former athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to compete with anybody on the call, but like the school you go to, man, it's a 4-year decision, but it's a 40-year decision because of everybody you're gonna connect with, meet with, and do things with, and it becomes your extended network, right? And that to me is what you just talked about. And then you got a school like Indiana, man. I mean, just so many wonderful things you're gonna get a chance to experience coming from Rockwall area. I'm a basketball player development coach, so I would spend some time in your area, Rockwall, in the outskirts, man. So it's going to be different, right? But it's going to be a fair experience, man. I look forward to seeing you in the Crimson and Cream plan, leading us, down the victories, man, in the future.
Yes, sir. Me too. That's the ultimate goal.
That's right.
Yeah, you have a great Indiana alum right there in Dallas, and Mark Cuban. Have you met him?
That's right.
Yet?
I haven't met him, but I knew that he went to Indiana. So yes, sir.
Well, he's not only did he go to Indiana, but he's still passionately involved with the school. He's given a lot of his time, his money, and his attention and resources to making Indiana a university a better place. I don't know if you know that how he made his fortune was developing a company called Broadcom.
Right.
And the reason he developed Broadcom was it was the first audio streaming company because he wanted to hear Indiana basketball games on the radio, and he lived in Dallas.
Wow.
Right?
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yep. And you can credit him to almost being a pioneer and a maverick, pun intended, to being one of the, you like that one, right? You gotta watch me, Josh. You gotta watch me.
Yeah.
I throw an audible sometimes, Josh.
It's like Ted Lasso. You do like a little Ted Lasso.
I throw him in, Josh. I throw him in. But you can almost credit him to be also like the same passion. I want to catch up with IU basketball games. How can I do it? He found a way to do it. And almost you can see that as being piggyback to what we have today in social media.
Right.
And
yes,
so pretty cool.
That is
millions.
Yeah, Indiana's alumni base, I think, is either the second or third largest in the country. Did you know that?
It used to be number one. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be number one. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and it's not that big of a school. That's what's amazing. It's not that big of a school. I mean, it's big, but it's not, say, Wisconsin or Ohio State student-wise. But it is.
Or UT. UT is bigger school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I knew that about Indiana and the alumni, and that's another thing. I want to go somewhere. I'm going to meet people, and I hope to play football. As long as possible, just like every athlete dreams, and having a great career. But at some point, football is going to end, and I'm going to have to do something else. And so that was another big thing of just meeting people there, and all the networking that goes on. At a university like that. So,
what's your area of study?
I have one more question.
I'm gonna start in the Kelly School of Business. That's
wow!
Wow!
Then you are assured for employment the rest of your life.
I think you'll be okay.
To get a degree, there.
I think you'll be all right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to go that
Great
route.
school.
Yes,
Great school.
And it's interesting he says Kelly School of Business because I'm sitting there like it's 9:48, Josh. How are you getting out of class right now, man? What's tell me about it?
So today
like it's Monday.
We don't have school today because it's like a teacher development day. So we just
it's a fair day. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fair day.
So, but yeah,
we got the state fair going, guys. We get state fair going. So
yeah.
I know we have those parent-teacher conference days, right? Joking.
Right.
It's awesome. What else did you get to do and see on your trip? The coaches, I'm sure you spoke with Tom Allen, and it's like anytime I'm around him, it's like sticking a needle in your vein. He is just Tom Allen. He's just a great naturally caffeinated person, I think is the right way to say it. But talk about your experiences with some of the people you got to see and meet that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, I think just being up there, and I really enjoy the coaching staff, and not just the full-time coaches, but just everybody, the recruiting coordinators, and just the entire program. You can just tell that Coach Allen has made an impact on a lot of people, and he's, like you said, he's one of those guys. He's contagious. His personality is contagious, and his drive and his passion for what he does. And so that's something that really attracted me to the program. And I really enjoy talking to Coach Allen, just hearing, what his heart and what he has to say. And, I believe in him and, his plan, his program, and, Coach Sheridan as well. I love Coach Sheridan and everything he does. And, it's kind of tough sometimes whenever you don't have the success you want to have. But at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to one person, just as, Mr. Miller. I mean, sports is it's about everybody. It's not about the coach. It's not about just players. It's a joint deal. So, it's never one guy's fault. And, I believe in those coaches and Coach Sheridan and, what they're doing. So, I had a great time just enjoying talking to everybody and getting to know even more people on my trip.
So how old are you? 28, 30?
18.
Because you sound like you're 28 or 30.
I'm gonna just tell you right now. You call me Mr. Miller, like I think I've arrived. I'm like I've arrived. Like, Mr. Miller, come on, Jim, come on, Angelo, Mr. Miller, come on, man. I've arrived. Like, thanks, Josh. Like, Hoover for life.
Well, you come up here and do something spectacular, you may become a movie star.
There you go. You never know.
There you go.
Maybe I'll get lucky.
Might be exactly the meeting and makings. Right, love it.
Well, I'm planning on shooting a movie in Indiana in about 2 years,
Awesome.
when we finally get the tax credit bill passed. But I will say, I want to add one thing about Coach Allen, which people ask me about. Is his kind of feel-good enthusiasm. Is it real? And the one thing I can tell you, being around him as much as I have, is he is as authentic a human being as I've ever met in my life. Everything that he says from his heart,
right,
and not his head. He doesn't say things just to calculate, to get an effect. And his interaction with, one of the things that I really like about him is he's a good listener. He's not just a lot of coaches just like to talk and talk and talk and talk, and they're filled with coachisms. But he wants to hear how you think, what you think. He really is interested in how you respond to his ideas, and
right.
And the conversations I've had with him have been really special.
Yeah, same here. You can tell that, especially in this recruiting and football and college football and all that, there's a lot of people that, aren't who they say they are all the time.
Right.
You see that with coaches a lot. They say one thing on the phone, and then you get there, they're a totally different guy, and the way they treat the players is totally different. And so that's one thing that I really wanted to find, was just a coach that, did and does what he says that he is, and so seeing Coach Allen and meeting him and just realizing that, everything that he says he is, that's really true and authentic, like you said. So that's one thing that I noticed as well, just his heart and how he lives his life, reflecting, what he says.
And the other thing I'll say is a lot of coaches and a lot of programs promote the idea that they create a family atmosphere.
Right.
But you can't know that until you're there. And my guess is that you also found out there was authenticity to that the players love the guy, and that there is a real connection among all the players, and that LEO is a real thing.
Right. Yeah. You can ask the players and find out real quick what a coach is really like, because a lot of those guys, they're not scared to tell you the truth, because they see it every day, and they don't have anything to lose, so, asking the players, talking to the players, everyone said, it's real. This is who he is, and every single day, and he brings the energy, and, he doesn't just care about football. He cares about who you are as a person and what's going on in your life, and that's rare for a coach. And, I think something that sticks out to me about Coach Allen is just his humility and the way he treats other people. We're walking to a restaurant the other night, and he's talking to, just fans at a table like they're somebody that's, just as important as him or whoever. So, and you don't see that a lot. A lot of coaches kind of think that they're somebody and they're maybe too good just because of their position to talk to certain people. And I think that's such an example to me and to, everybody else that's around him about just treat people the way they should be treated. And it's definitely, he has a contagious personality, the way he acts. So,
well, I'm glad you experienced that.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to seeing you again up here. What's your next game this weekend? You have Friday night?
We play Mesquite High in Mesquite this Friday night, and then I'll be leaving Saturday to come to the Ohio State game. So,
I grew up watching the Mesquite Rodeo when I was a little kid because that was one of the first things that you could get on cable when I was a kid. Don Gay's father started that. Donnie Gay was an 8-time world champion bull rider, but I ended up meeting all those guys and working with them later in life when I must do my sports deals. But yeah, Mesquite Rodeo, man, that was a staple.
I
can't go ahead.
They always have the mud busting for all the little kids and stuff and all kinds of. It's a good atmosphere, but I was always too.
Did you ever Did you ever do it?
No, they said I was too big. I would have killed the poor little lamb, but a lot of kids do it over there, but I was always too big. They said.
For those of you that don't know, mutton busting is hit the little kids on a sheep and bring them out of the bucking chutes. So they're not on a calf or anything like that. It's just a sheep, but it's pretty hilarious.
It is
to watch, but
hey, it's great you're coming back for 2 games in a row. That's kind of unusual.
Yes, sir, I am. I wanted to come back next week too, and I think there's some kids coming in, and I wanted to meet those guys and see the Ohio State game too, obviously. So,
that's
it's sold out.
Oh yeah, I heard it's gonna be crazy. So we're trying to figure out all the rental car stuff and all that, but I think the recruiting service will take care of that. So
absolutely,
should be good,
man. Cannot wait to see you and get up here. Hopefully, you and Angelo will get to talk some when you get up here. I'm sure that he'd love that. And Charlie, I'll give you guys
anytime.
I'll give you guys your info. But man, it has been a spectacularly fun day. And Angelo, you and Josh took it over the top. Charlie usually takes it over the top. Great, but you two guys have just blown it up. What a great show, man! I can't thank all of you enough. It was incredible. Thanks to everyone listening. Well, more importantly, man, without you guys, we wouldn't be anywhere. But thanks to John, the producer, as well. But Charlie, Josh, and Angelo, it's been fun, man, and look forward to doing this again sometime.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot,
appreciate
guys.
it. Thanks, guys. Nice to see all you.
Okay.
Everyone else, go out and have themselves a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow to do it all again. And until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.